Britain is being battered by severe storm Nelson from Spain, which has cast a pall on travel plans ahead of the Easter holidays. As millions of people are expected to hit the road for the holidays, the storm's violent rain, traffic disruptions and safety concerns are causing widespread concern. According to the Met Office, Storm Nelson will sweep across the southeast, southwest and east of England with strong winds of up to 50 miles per hour, including London. The Weather Service issued a yellow wind warning on Friday, alerting the public to the dangers the storm could bring. The effects of Storm Nelson are already starting to be felt. Ferry company DFDS reported delays on its services at Dover due to strong winds in the English Channel. It is estimated that up to 2 million Britons are planning to travel abroad over the long weekend, and their plans may be affected. Meanwhile, flooding has closed some rail lines. Great Western Railway said the main line from Paddington to Bristol Templemeads and all lines between Westbury and Swindon were disrupted by flooding. This undoubtedly brings inconvenience to many people who plan to travel by train. Despite the bad weather, passenger traffic at the airport remains strong. According to Travel Industry Association ABTA, 175,000 people will depart from Stansted Airport, 105,000 from Luton Airport, 160,000 from Manchester Airport and 79,000 from Birmingham Airport between Friday and Monday. 89,000 people took off from Edinburgh Airport. Storm Nelson also brought changeable weather. In Cornwall, extreme weather phenomena such as hail occurred in some areas. Good Friday is expected to be a day of sunshine, high winds, and scattered showers. Weather experts warn that some exposed coastal areas could experience wind gusts of 60 to 70 miles per hour, accompanied by huge waves. Showers may be accompanied by hail and thunderstorms, which may make roads slippery and adversely affect travel conditions. Northern Ireland was among the areas with the heaviest rainfall during the storm. The Meteorological Department has issued a yellow rainfall warning for parts of Northern Ireland. It is expected that 15 to 25 millimeters of rainfall will generally accumulate there, and it may even exceed 40 millimeters in some areas. Thank you for liking, leaving comments, subscribing and turning on the little bell. We will update every day. Despite the changeable weather, other parts of the UK are likely to enjoy some warm sunshine. Weather forecasts show the maximum temperature in southeast England could reach 14 degrees Celsius. However, along with the warmth, isolated thunderstorms are possible in some areas. As the storm raged, a 62-year-old British tourist died on the coast of Asturias in northern Spain. According to reports, the man and his wife were on vacation in the area and they were walking on the breakwater at the mouth of the San Esteban River. Tragedy struck when he was knocked down by rough waves and swept out to sea. Despite the best efforts of rescuers, only his body was recovered. The British tourist who died was one of 4 lives claimed by Storm Nelson in Spain. On the coast of Asturias, the waves are as high as 7 meters and the sea conditions are very dangerous. Another woman was swept into the sea near the port of Cudillero, and although she was rescued by a fishing boat, she did not survive. In Tarragona, a 16-year-old boy fell into the water and a 30-year-old German man tried to rescue him, but both drowned. Spanish authorities urged people to stay away from dangerous areas such as docks, ports and coastal roads to avoid being swept into rough seas by strong winds. Storm Nelson wreaked havoc across Spain, particularly in the Andalusia region, with emergency services fielding hundreds of calls for help and high winds toppling trees, awnings, and even roofs. Back in the UK, road traffic is expected to peak on Good Friday. According to a survey by RAC and traffic analysis company INRIX, there will be 2.6 million self-driving trips that day. To avoid the busiest times, drivers are advised to either set off early or delay hitting the road until late afternoon. Rail travel also faces challenges. Some major lines are closed due to construction work, including the West Coast Main Line between London Euston and Milton Keynes for 4 days starting on Good Friday. Rail services in areas around Glasgow and Huddersfield will also be affected. Network Rail urges passengers to check their journey details before traveling to avoid delays. Although the storm caused many inconveniences, it did not dampen the British holiday enthusiasm. According to Visit England, around 11 million Britons plan to take overnight trips over Easter, which is expected to contribute £3.2 billion to the UK economy. Facing the ravages of Storm Nelson, the British showed tenacious fighting spirit and optimistic spirit. Undeterred by the bad weather, many people still stick to their vacation plans and are ready to face any difficulties and challenges that may arise. The British Meteorological Department pays close attention to the storm's movements and updates weather warning information at any time. At the same time, transportation operators are also actively responding and doing their best to reduce the impact of the storm on travel. Rescue workers are always ready to respond to possible emergencies. The UK is regularly affected by storms, and the reasons are complex. First of all, as an island country, the UK is surrounded by the Atlantic Ocean, the North Sea and the English Channel, which makes it particularly vulnerable to strong storms and low-pressure systems from the Atlantic Ocean. Its geographical location determines that it inevitably withstands the direct attack of powerful weather systems, forming in the Atlantic Ocean. At the same time, the temperate maritime climate zone in which the UK is located, although the temperature is relatively mild, also means that the weather is changeable and extreme weather events occur from time to time. Since the UK is located at the intersection of warm and cold currents in the North Atlantic, the interaction of warm and cold air further contributes to the formation of powerful weather systems. Secondly, low-pressure systems formed in the Atlantic are often accompanied by strong winds, heavy rains, and other extreme weather, and move northeast along the dominant winds, eventually hitting various parts of the UK. These powerful storms coming from the Atlantic pose a huge threat to the UK. At the same time, the British terrain is open and lacks natural barriers to block storms, making it easier for strong storms from the Atlantic to directly hit various parts of the UK and cause widespread damage. In addition, it is worth mentioning that global climate change in recent years may also have exacerbated the frequency and intensity of extreme weather events in the UK. Climate warming causes sea surface temperatures to rise, providing more heat energy for severe tropical cyclones, making them more powerful. At the same time, rising temperatures will also increase the risk of drought and wildfires, posing additional threats to the UK. It cannot be ignored that there are certain deficiencies in the UK's infrastructure and emergency response systems in dealing with these extreme weather events. Some old buildings and infrastructure are difficult to withstand the impact of strong storms, and emergency response systems sometimes struggle to respond to emergencies in a timely and efficient manner. What is even more noteworthy is that the long-term impacts of climate change may cause the UK to face more frequent and severe extreme weather events in the future, causing huge pressure on its economy, society, and environment. To sum up, the UK is frequently hit by storms, which is not only affected by its unique geographical location and climatic conditions, but also closely related to the long-term impact of global climate change. Responding to this challenge requires the British government and society to work together to strengthen infrastructure construction, improve emergency response mechanisms, and adopt effective climate change mitigation and adaptation measures. When a storm hits, how to take shelter is crucial. First, when a severe storm is forecast to hit, it's crucial to be well prepared. At the same time, paying close attention to the latest official weather warning information and taking necessary preventive measures accordingly is the key to ensuring personal safety. Additionally, if you have enough time, you should consider evacuating to a safe location away from areas that may be hit by the storm. It is worth mentioning that when evacuating, you should bring necessary emergency supplies such as food, drinking water, medicine, flashlights, etc. in case of emergency. Secondly, if timely evacuation is not possible, appropriate measures must be taken to ensure the safety of the residents and surrounding environment. At the same time, outdoor items such as furniture and decorations should be fixed or moved indoors to prevent them from being blown away by strong winds and causing damage. Additionally, closing doors and windows and reinforcing them can go some way to preventing glass from breaking and items from being blown in. What cannot be ignored is that you should stay away from windows and exterior walls to avoid being hit by flying glass or other objects. What's more noteworthy is that if your residence is located in a low-lying area, you should make flood prevention preparations in advance and move important items to higher places to prevent them from being flooded. In the meantime, if you are trapped outdoors, finding safe cover is essential. In addition, you should stay away from objects that may be blown down, such as trees, telephone poles, and billboards, to avoid injury. It is worth mentioning that if you are trapped in a car, the safest thing to do is to park in an open area away from trees and buildings, and away from areas of standing water on the road. It cannot be ignored that during a storm, you should try to avoid going out unless it is an emergency. More importantly, some necessary safety measures need to be taken after the storm. At the same time, the home and surroundings should be carefully inspected for damage, and if any damage is discovered, appropriate repairs or reinforcements should be taken immediately. Additionally, if anyone is injured, medical attention should be sought immediately. It is worth mentioning that if there is a power or water outage, you should stay calm and be prepared to respond accordingly. What cannot be ignored is that if you need to go out, you should be careful and avoid buildings and trees damaged by the storm to avoid accidents. What's more noteworthy is that if you find someone missing, you should immediately call the police for rescue. In addition, in order to better respond to possible storm attacks in the future, it is necessary to formulate complete emergency plans. At the same time, shelters should be inspected and maintained regularly to ensure they are strong enough to withstand strong winds and heavy rains. In addition, stock up on necessary emergency supplies such as food, drinking water, flashlights, batteries, etc., in case of emergency. It is worth mentioning that it is also very important to understand basic first aid knowledge, which will help to rescue the injured in time in an emergency. What cannot be ignored is that regular participation in emergency drills and familiarity with escape routes and the location of shelters can improve the ability to respond to emergencies. What's more noteworthy is that establishing good communication and collaboration with neighbors to support and help each other can play an important role when a storm hits. In fact, in addition to the direct damage caused by storms, they may also cause various secondary disasters, posing greater threats to the safety of people's lives and property. First, storms often cause severe flooding. At the same time, heavy rainfall may cause rivers to swell and streams to burst their banks, causing mudslides and other landslide disasters. In addition, low-lying areas are extremely vulnerable to internal and external waterlogging, which brings huge troubles to residents' lives and transportation. It is worth mentioning that severe floods may also cause water supply interruptions, flooded farmland, and other problems, thereby affecting residents' lives and agricultural production. Secondly, the storm may also trigger severe tsunamis. At the same time, high waves and huge waves caused by storms, coupled with the influence of wind and ocean currents, can easily cause seawater to exceed seawalls and wash away coastline buildings. In addition, residents in coastal areas may face dangers such as seawater intrusion and submersion. It is worth mentioning that tsunamis not only threaten coastal areas, but inland rivers may also suffer huge reverse impacts, causing river water backflow and exacerbating waterlogging disasters. What cannot be ignored is that tsunamis may also cause huge losses to ports, terminals, maritime facilities, etc., seriously affecting maritime transportation and shipping industries. At the same time, storms may also trigger serious landslides and mudslides. In addition, strong winds and heavy rains may cause the mountain soil to loosen and trees to be uprooted, increasing the risk of landslides and mudslides. It is worth mentioning that mudslides are often sudden and extremely destructive, and may cause serious consequences such as road interruption and buried buildings. What cannot be ignored is that landslides and mudslides may also block rivers and aggravate floods in downstream areas. What's more, the storm could cause severe traffic disruptions. At the same time, heavy rains may flood roads, and strong winds may cause toppled trees, billboards, building debris, etc. to block roads. In addition, secondary disasters such as floods and landslides may also cut off transportation lines. It is worth mentioning that traffic interruptions not only affect residents' travel, but may also delay the arrival of rescue teams and aggravate the disaster. What cannot be ignored is that blocked transportation capacity may also lead to shortages of material supplies and restrict post-disaster reconstruction efforts. What is more noteworthy is that air and maritime traffic may also be severely affected by the storm, with airports and ports temporarily closed and flights and shipping delayed or cancelled. It cannot be ignored that storms may also cause severe power supply and communication interruptions. In addition, strong winds and heavy rain may cause transmission line failures, damage to power facilities, and cause widespread power outages. It is worth mentioning that communication facilities may also be damaged during storms, causing communication signal interruptions. What cannot be ignored is that interruptions in power supply and communications not only affect normal life, but may also hinder rescue efforts and aggravate the disaster. What is even more noteworthy is that for some critical facilities such as hospitals and data centers that require continuous power supply interruption may have catastrophic consequences. In addition, storms can cause serious fires and chemical leaks. At the same time, strong winds may stir up ignition, causing wildfires to spread, threatening forested areas and densely populated areas. In addition, wire faults, gas leaks, etc. may also cause fires. It is worth mentioning that during storms, firefighting forces may not be available in time, exacerbating the spread of fires. What cannot be ignored is that once a leak occurs in some chemical plants, storage tank areas, and other flammable and explosive places, it may also cause serious secondary disasters. What is even more noteworthy is that the leakage of toxic and harmful gases may also pose a threat to the health of residents. It should be pointed out that the sanitary environment problems after the storm cannot be ignored. In addition, large areas of water accumulation and flooding may lead to contamination of drinking water sources and trigger outbreaks of infectious diseases. It is worth mentioning that the inability to dispose of remains in a timely manner after a disaster may exacerbate the spread of the epidemic. What cannot be ignored is that the deterioration of the sanitary environment may also aggravate people's physical and psychological trauma. What's more noteworthy is that the destruction of crops and livestock may also lead to food shortages and malnutrition. It must be mentioned that storms may also cause serious damage to the ecological environment. At the same time, strong winds and heavy rains may cause soil erosion, vegetation damage, water pollution, and other problems. In addition, the habitats of some endangered species may also be destroyed in storms, exacerbating the loss of biodiversity. It is worth mentioning that storms may also bring invasive alien species and pose new threats to local ecosystems. What cannot be ignored is that the destruction of the ecological environment not only affects animals and plants, but may also have a long-term impact on human survival and development. What is more noteworthy is that storm disasters may also cause a series of social problems. At the same time, a large number of residents may be homeless and require temporary housing. In addition, the order of production and living may be seriously damaged, and problems such as employment difficulties and economic losses may ensue. It is worth mentioning that post-disaster reconstruction requires huge capital investment, which may increase the financial burden on the government and the people. What cannot be ignored is that disaster victims may also suffer serious psychological trauma, requires professional psychological counseling. What is even more noteworthy is that social security problems such as robbery and riots may occur in some areas, which will bring new challenges to post-disaster reconstruction work. In response to the increasingly severe extreme weather and storm disasters caused by climate change, the rapid development of science and technology has provided us with many effective black technology means to prevent and respond. First of all, in terms of prediction and early warning, the widespread application of satellite remote sensing technology has greatly improved our ability to monitor meteorological systems. At the same time, the combination of high-performance computers and artificial intelligence algorithms has greatly improved the prediction accuracy of weather models, providing valuable time for defense deployment in advance. In addition, the development of 5G communication technology can ensure that early warning information is delivered to the public and emergency departments in a timely and efficient manner. It is worth mentioning that new detection equipment such as drones can also be used to track real-time weather conditions and provide more refined information support to decision makers. Secondly, in terms of disaster prevention and reduction, the application of new materials and smart building technologies has greatly improved our ability to withstand storms. At the same time, high-strength new materials such as carbon fiber and polymer materials can be used to build wind and wave-resistant buildings and infrastructure. In addition, the deformable smart building structure can actively adjust its shape according to changes in wind force, significantly enhancing its load-bearing capacity. It is worth mentioning that risk assessment models based on big data analysis can also be used to optimize urban planning and layout, and reduce potential disaster risks. What cannot be ignored is that key facilities such as flood control dams can also use smart sensing technology to detect hidden dangers in advance and repair and strengthen them in time. At the same time, information and communication technology is playing an increasingly important role in emergency rescue. In addition, the emergency command system based on 5G and satellite communications can ensure efficient communication between rescuers and the command center. It is worth mentioning that new rescue equipment such as drones and robots can also carry out search and rescue operations in disaster areas that are difficult to reach by humans. What cannot be ignored is that the use of big data and artificial intelligence analysis technology can quickly assess disaster situations, allocate resources, and improve rescue efficiency. What's more noteworthy is that virtual reality (VR) technology can also be used to simulate disaster situations and improve the emergency response capabilities of rescuers. In addition, in terms of post-disaster reconstruction, smart manufacturing technologies such as 3D printing and robots can greatly shorten the reconstruction cycle. At the same time, the application of programmable materials and self-healing materials can significantly extend the service life of infrastructure. In addition, the smart planning system based on artificial intelligence can also optimize the reconstruction plan and achieve efficient allocation of resources. It is worth mentioning that drones and remote sensing technology can also be used to instantly monitor reconstruction progress and identify and solve potential problems. What cannot be ignored is that the popularity of the internet and mobile payment technology has also greatly facilitated the recovery of victims' lives and the raising of reconstruction funds. Thank you for liking, leaving a message, subscribing and turning on the little bell. We will update the latest news from around the world every day. Continue to use a scientific perspective to explore the complex truth behind meteorological events.